Hey everyone, this is Kevin from the chesswebsite.com, and today we're going to be going over the Marshall trap that comes from the Petrov Defense. Petrov Defense starts out with pawn e4, pawn e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, and in this variation, white captures on e5, black plays d6, white retreats to f3. A lot of what I'm going to be showing in the Marshall trap is just one of the common lines that you will see in the Petrov Defense. So if you do play black as Petrov Defense, you'll probably be very familiar with this. So if you do see this particular line come up in the Petrov Defense that you're playing, you may want to try it out. So we'll go ahead and continue on with the variation. Black is now going to capture on e4. It would have been a mistake for him to capture right away on e4 before he played d6. He would end up losing material. But he first plays d6, and then when the knight comes back to f3, black then captures with knight to e4. White's going to continue his development, bring his pawn to d4, attacking and trying to control the center, and black's going to solidify the center control that he has with his knight on e4 by bringing his pawn to d5. White's going to continue to add pressure on this knight on e4 by bringing his bishop to d3. Black is going to bring his bishop to d6, putting a lot of pressure on the king side. It's a common theme in the Petrov Defense, as you'll see, to start to build up a lot of pressure on the king side, which is exactly what black does in this particular case. From here, white's going to castle kingside, very common. Black's going to castle kingside as well. One of the things you want to do in any opening is put your king in safety, and since white or black both don't have any of their pieces on the D, C, and B files, they definitely want to make sure they castle kingside, because it would be at least 4 moves before they could castle on the queen side. From here, white plays c4, and this is a move that you'll see very often, trying to break up the center control that black has, and this puts a lot of pressure on this d5 pawn. A lot of times you'll see a move like pawn to c6, trying to add more pressure on here. But black's going to avoid that in this situation and bring his bishop to g4. And you'll see this in pretty much any opening, bringing the bishop to g4 for black, the light square bishop, pinning down this knight here to the queen. Very aggressive move from black here. And from here, white's going to take the pawn on d5, since black did not want to hold on to it. White's just going to go ahead and take this extra pawn that black is giving up. And from here, black's going to continue, bring his pawn to f5, supporting both of the pieces on g4 and e4. And here is the Marshall trap that you'll see in pretty much any opening, but especially in this situation. It's very tempting for white to bring his rook to e1. Anytime there's an open file or semi-open file, you want to bring your rook there. That's really where your rook is best suited. He can't really move right now. The rook on f1 for white can't move anywhere, and he would really like to have it along this e file so that he can pretty much rain havoc on the entire file. Especially would like to have it there so he can continue to add pressure onto this knight on e4, which is really just a pain in the side for white right now, because it's can't do anything, but white really can't do anything right now to get rid of it. So white would really like to bring his rook to e1 and add more pressure. What white should do is bring his knight to c3, put pressure on the knight on e4 like that. But this is a trap, so a trap means that one of the players is going to be making a mistake, and in the Marshall trap, the mistake is going to come from white moving his rook to e1, thinking it's a good development move, bringing his knight to an open file here. But actually it's going to spell doom for the white. From here, black has the great sacrifice of bishop to h2 check. And then after White cannot capture with his knight here because, again, his queen is pinned down. So if he were to capture this bishop on h2, then black could simply take this queen on d1. That's not going to be very good for white. So instead, after the king captures on h2, then black can come to f2, capture this pawn, and at the same time attacking both the queen on d1 and the bishop on d3. The queen is forced to move here. White can't give up his queen, so he's forced to move his queen. We'll go ahead and put it on e2 here. And then once black takes on d3 and white recaptures on d3, now black can capture on f3 safely. Doesn't matter if the queen or the pawn come to g3 and capture. We'll go ahead and do the queen. The black queen can come to h4, attack the king, and at the same time forking this rook on e1. And there's nothing white can do about it, which kind of sucks for white. But this is the martial attack. It comes off in the Petrov Defense. If you don't play the Petrov Defense, you're probably not going to see it. If you do play the Petrov Defense, it really depends on if you're going to see this line. There are 3 main lines that you will see in the Petrov Defense. But if you do come across this line, for those players that do play it, this was one of the most common lines that you will see. So you actually may come across this line more than you may think. You just may not have known what it is. But now you do, so if you come across it, you'll know how to take advantage. And if you're white, you'll know how not to fall into the trap. And you will develop your knight to c3, trying to add pressure to the e4 square, and not bring your rook right away to the e1 square. So, hope you guys enjoyed the martial trap. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next video. Thanks for watching.